We've reached the time of year where I am ready to review my 2023 favorites. And this is the skincare that I have absolutely adored this year, everything that I just truly fell in love with. I'm Dr. Sam Ellis, and I'm a board-certified dermatologist in Northern California, and I'm here to help you understand your skin and hair and nails and find products that really work for you. So if that sounds good, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. When I think about my favorites for this year, and really when I'm picking my favorites ever, it's really the products that I keep going back to, things that stay in my routine, or when I run out of them, I run out to repurchase them or I miss them. So first up is the first cleanse. So I'm a double cleanse kind of gal. I like to go in usually with some type of balm or oil cleanser and then follow it up with a second cleanse. So my absolute favorite first cleansing step this year, I was reaching for it time and time again, is by Krave. It's their Makeup Rewind Jelly Oil Cleanser. And if you follow me on any social channels like Instagram or whatever, you might be like, what the heck, Dr. Ellis? I've never really heard you talk about this cleanser, but I realized it's the one I really reach for when I just need to get my skincare routine done. I've had a long day and I want to be efficient with my routine. I might have makeup on. I don't want to film or grab my camera to show you. And that's probably why it just hasn't shown up a lot, but it actually has been such a staple for me. So there are a lot of reasons that I really love this cleanser. Number one, it's just super effective at breaking down sunscreen and makeup. And honestly, at the end of the day, when I just want to get through my skincare routine and get in bed, I need something that's going to be efficient, where it's going to break down my makeup and I don't feel like I have to do any cleanup afterward. This comes in a little squeeze tube, and as you squeeze it out, it is this sort of firm jelly, but as you melt it down between your fingers, it becomes an oil, and hence the name Jelly Oil Cleanser. And the way it just feels when you massage it in, it's really slippy. Immediately, I can see it breaking down my makeup. It doesn't sting my eyes, and then it rinses really clean. So I find that a lot of cleansing balms or oils, even after you rinse them off, they have this film on the skin that I don't really love, but I tolerate in a lot of cleansers because I know I'm gonna go in with a second cleanser, but this one really feels clean. There have actually been nights where I forget to go in with my second cleanser because my skin is just so clean after that first step. This has grapeseed oil and sunflower oil, and honestly, I'm not always looking for conditioning or skin improving agents in my first cleansing step. I just want it to take my makeup and sunscreen off. But the fact that this has some things that are actually good for the skin in it also makes it really nice. I don't find that it stings my skin, and compared to a lot of oil cleansers, it also doesn't leave a big film on my contact lenses. And there are some cleansers I use and I almost feel blind afterward for a while. And this one I can go in, wash my face, and then I can actually see afterward. And some of you might be watching this who wear contact lenses and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you wash your face with your contact lenses in. But if I take my contact lenses out, I literally cannot see, and I would not be able to accurately do my routine afterward unless I was 1 inch from the mirror. So that's my first cleansing step. My favorite second cleansing step, and the cleanser I use by far and away the most this year, is from my brand Prequel, our Cleanser. And this is not going to be the only Prequel product in this video, but obviously I'm going to make a skincare brand that I absolutely love, so it kind of makes sense that it's in my favorites for the year. To me, the Prequel Cleanser, which is a glycerin-based cleanser, it's 50% glycerin, which is how we came up with the name, is just such a unique, special cleanser. I feel like if I was blindfolded and you put 20 cleansers in front of me and asked me to pull out the Prequel Cleanser, I could, because it's that unique and special. The way I would describe this is a very satisfying cleanser to use that's also really gentle. For years and years, I've been trying gentle cleansers, and yes, they get the job done. They might take off a little bit of makeup. They keep my skin feeling good, but they weren't that enjoyable to use, or I wasn't inspired to use them. And the thing about the cleanser is it has this beautiful foam. It's a little micro foam that isn't drying or stripping. So you still get that satisfying cleanse, but then your skin is still so nourished afterward. And in part, that's due to the glycerin that's in there that's drawing water to the skin's surface. But this also has inulin in it, which also has this nice moisturizing factor and is kind of a nice addition there. And honestly, the feedback on cleanser has been so positive. I've just been so amazed seeing you guys use it over the course of the year. It's sold out twice and it's now back in stock, but just thank you for all the support around Prequel in general in 2023. It's been such a fun journey to launch this brand. Sort of going down the list of product favorites, I thought I'd talk about my favorite vitamin C of the year next, and it's also by Prequel. So it's called Lucent C. See what we did there? Lucent C means clarity in the skin, and that's really what this vitamin C is all about achieving. It was a late launch for us, so it just launched this December, but I have been using it for the past year on the DL, and it is literally the vitamin C that I have used all year long. I'm so happy that it finally launched and I can share it more with you guys, because I feel like all year long people were asking me, what's your favorite vitamin C? What vitamin C are you using? And I had to be like, it's this one that's coming out, and now it's here, Lucent C. You guys know I'm a huge stickler when it comes to vitamin C. I want it to have good good, strong actives. I want it to be gentle on the skin. I want it to be science-backed. So I was thinking about all of that when this product was being formulated. This has 15% L-ascorbic acid, which is the most studied form of vitamin C. And if you don't use vitamin C or you haven't incorporated a topical antioxidant into your skincare routine, the whole point of this is to fight off oxygen-free radicals. Those are little damaging molecules that happen over the course of the day from external factors like UV radiation and pollution, as well as your normal skin cellular metabolism. To me, they are like a skin enhancer. In addition to protecting your skin with sunscreen every day, having an antioxidant in your skincare routine that consistently protects your skin is going to help with things like premature skin aging. Vitamin C is also known for helping with clarity of the skin, brightening of the skin, reduction of brown spots, as well as producing collagen, which is going to make your skin less wrinkly, more plump, and just more radiant. In addition to having the 15% vitamin C, this also has something called ergothioneine, which is another type of antioxidant that actually helps recycle the vitamin C in the bottle. So a huge critique of vitamin C is that it oxidizes in the bottle and then you're not getting the most effective product. And ergothioneine reserves and essentially revives that oxidized vitamin C so that the product stays fresh for longer. This also has ferulic acid. So there are some other very popular vitamin Cs that have ascorbic acid and ferulic acid. And the whole reason for that is the most proven effective combination of antioxidants. So why wouldn't I want that included in my product? This also has inulin for moisturizing and conditioning the skin, and it's the same thing that's in our cleanser, as well as niacinamide to add an additional brightening and skin barrier fortifying ingredient. In addition to being a super effective formula, the texture is so lovely. It's a little bit slippery. It's very water-like, so it just lands on the skin, and then you can layer on top of it the rest of your skincare without it interfering. I just love the way this makes my skin look, the way it makes my skin feel. I also like that it is super, super affordable because I feel like everyone deserves to have a good, affordable vitamin C. And so for me, it was my absolute favorite in 2023, and I know it's gonna be my favorite next year too. Aside from vitamin C, the other serum that I've been using a ton this year is by Medicate, and it's their liquid peptides. So peptides are one of those things in skincare that often feel a bit vague because there are so many different types of peptides. But the reason I like this one from Medicate is they've really taken the most proven peptides and incorporated them into one serum that to me is relatively affordable for how much goodness is packed into one product. Peptides can do a lot of different things. They can help with collagen production, they can help with fine lines, they can smooth the skin, they can plump the skin, and the blend that is in this particular product I think is really wonderful. I also like that this is a pretty lightweight serum, so again, it like layers well with other products, and when I'm thinking about serum steps, I just never want my skin to feel heavy or feel weighed down, and I never want my products to pill up or ball up on the skin when I apply my sunscreen, for example, and this really plays nice with others. The one thing I'll say about this, and this is really only if you're like a real stickler for texture, is occasionally it feels a bit tacky or like sticky on the skin, and some days I'm like, oh, I don't really love that, and other days it really doesn't bother me, but that's just something I think that's worth pointing out. I feel like I'm really going down the list of anti-aging things, vitamin C, peptides. Let's talk about retinoids next, and my retinoid of the year is by Medicate. It's their Crystal Retinol 20. I'm now just realizing I have two Medicate products in here, but I feel like they do a really good job with their formulations, and they're pretty famous in the retinoid space for formulating really stable retinoids. And that's really important because these are vitamin A derived molecules that help stimulate collagen and prevent collagen breakdown. But if not formulated well, that retinoid can break down in the formula and not exert any positive effects. So this Crystal Retinol 20 is the strongest retinoid topical that Medicate makes currently, I'm pretty sure. It's 0.2% retinaldehyde. And retinaldehyde, if you're not familiar, sometimes it's called retinal, is a step up in terms of efficacy and strength from retinol, which a lot of people are more familiar with. Just quickly, retinol, which is an amazing anti-aging ingredient, gets converted into retinaldehyde in the skin, and then retinaldehyde gets converted into the active retinoid, which is retinoic acid. And so because retinaldehyde is closer to that active form, it can be more effective and actually can cause less irritation for people too. Now, a lot of you know that I use tretinoin, which is a prescription retinoid, on my face most regularly. However, there are times when my skin is feeling more sensitive, and so I just want to like take it back a notch. That's where I would use this Crystal Retinol 20. I also really like using it on my neck and my chest because those are areas that I do not tolerate tretinoin well. It tends to be too irritating. I get itchy, sometimes I get flaky, but for whatever reason, I can tolerate that Crystal Retinol 20. Obviously, it's a little less potent than prescription, but still so effective. And if you're worried about things like texture, crepiness, fine lines on your neck or chest, or even on your face, but tretinoin is too much for you or you don't have access to tretinoin, I think this is like one of the best over-the-counter retinaldehyde products that you can buy. And this crystal retinol bimedicate actually comes in many different strengths. 20 is the strongest, but if you need to work your way up, I really love that they sort of have this stepwise approach where you can start with something a little less potent and then work your way up as tolerated. So even though I'm able to use a retinoid like tretinoin or retinaldehyde or retinol on my face every single night, if I wanted to, about one night a week, I like to switch it up and use an exfoliant on my face because using a topical exfoliant helps the skin look a little bit more glowy. It helps with cell turnover in a different way than retinoids do. And so I do have a favorite exfoliant of the year. And that is the M61 Power Glow Peel. And I guess I haven't talked about it that much on this channel, but it's one of those products that I just bring in my routine. I have it in my travel kit. I have it in my suitcase. I have one in my purse. Not that I need like random exfoliation, but I just like them so much that I realized I've stashed them pretty much everywhere in my life. You guys know I'm also a huge fan of the Dr. Dennis Gross peel pads, but those are 2 steps and this is just like one easy step. I also really like that this has glycolic acid and lactic acid, which help exfoliate the skin, but it does not have retinol. And the reason I like that it doesn't have retinol is that it's safe for people who are pregnant or trying to conceive. And if you need more information on pregnancy safe skincare, I have an entire YouTube video dedicated to that. I find this pad to be quite soothing on the skin and a little less irritating or stingy, if you will, than other exfoliating pads. It's still definitely strong. Like it's called Power Peel for a reason, but I just find even with my rosacea prone skin, it doesn't seem to flare after I apply these. One thing to note is there are several different plant extracts in here. So if you have super sensitive or allergic skin, you might want to stay away. But for me, who I would consider myself to be somewhat sensitive but not allergic to plant extracts, it's totally fine. So if you've tried other peel pads in the past and you've liked them but not been in love with them, or you're looking to try a different one, I think this one by M61 is really cool. Next up is moisturizer, and the moisturizer that I used by far the most this year on my face and on my body is also from Prequel, and it is the barrier therapy. And something that's really cool is this was accepted by the National Eczema Association. And when this was formulated, I really was honestly not keeping myself in mind. I was like, maybe I'll use this, but it was more like keeping my eczema and my super dry skinned patients in mind. But I have used this so much. The reason I love it the most is because it has really helped me tolerate my tretinoin better. For years, I've been trying to use tretinoin on my face more consistently. And it was not until this year, literally, when I was layering this product over my tretinoin that I was able to tolerate it 7 nights a week. This moisturizer is really formulated for face and body, and to me it hits that perfect sweet spot of super nourishing but rubs in very quickly. And one of the biggest barriers I always have with my patients is getting them to actually be consistent with their skincare, and a lot of that has to do with texture and like not enjoying the actual application process. And that's what I love the most about barrier therapy. It is so nourishing yet absorbs into the skin so quickly. It doesn't sit on your skin, and it's just an easy thing to apply every single day. This also has 1% colloidal oatmeal, which is one of my absolute favorite ingredients. It really helps soothe the skin. And then this is loaded up with other skin soothing and barrier strengthening ingredients like ceramides to really ensure that your skin is nourished afterward. When we launched this product, I was actually surprised at the overwhelming positive response. And I know that sounds weird, like why would you launch a product that you're not sure people will absolutely love? But I thought people just like might not be excited about a moisturizer, but then I realized like this moisturizer truly is special. It's also enormous. So you're getting a ton of product, and that's great for like face and body application. So it's not just a great moisturizer, but it also has a lot of value. I've also gotten so many positive messages in person and via Instagram about how you've used this product and how much it's helped your skin. I've had multiple people tell me that it helped with their radiation dermatitis when going through radiation treatments for cancer, that it helped them tolerate their products better. And all of those things just make me so happy and makes it even more of a favorite for me. Another moisturizing product that I've been absolutely loving this year, and if you follow this channel, you're not going to be surprised at all, but it's by Numbuzin. It's their number 3 Super Glowing Essence Toner. The reason I'm talking about it in sort of the category of moisturizers is because I use it as a moisturizing step. This is just a beautiful hydration product. The texture of this is not as watery as sort of your traditional essence or toner. It has a little bit of thickness to it, and so you really feel it on the skin when you apply it, and you're just like, that feels so nice. It has over 50 fermented ingredients, so that is super nourishing and calming for the skin. And I just find when I layer this either under my moisturizer or just directly under my sunscreen, my skin truly glows and just looks so much more plump and radiant the entire day. I will mention this has a little bit of fragrance to it, and I'm not usually like a fragrance and skincare kind of gal, but this fragrance doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't linger on the skin whatsoever, and I just like applying it from about my hairline down onto my chest and then also on the back of my hands. I also find that sometimes moisturizing or hydrating toners are a little bit sticky on the skin, and this has zero stickiness, which is just like an extra point in my book. All right, let's move on to my favorite sunscreens of the year. Now, this is always so hard. To me, it's like picking favorite children. Like there are so many different sunscreens I use, and a lot of what I use in my routine has to do with my mood or what makeup I'm going to be wearing. But these sunscreens to me were like my most used of the year, and they're the ones that I just reach for or sort of crave in my routine. So first up is my favorite tinted sunscreen of the year, and you've definitely heard me talk about this before. It's the Colorescience Face Shield Flex. So this is a pure mineral or physical sunscreen. It's SPF 50. And what I really want to make very clear here is I'm not using this as my only form of sunscreen. It is so tinted and so pigmented that the way I really love to use this is on top of my regular sunscreen. Because if I apply a full quarter teaspoon of this, I feel like it's a little bit too thick and it doesn't have the finish that I like, but I love it on top of other sunscreen, not only to sort of act as a second sunscreen layer, but also to make my skin tone more even and more luminous. I use this as my foundation way more than I actually wear foundation or any type of other skincare or complexion product. And I actually like to mix 2 shades of this. So the 2 lightest shades, which I think are fair and medium, I pretty much combine those in a 1-to-1 ratio, but I can play with that a little bit depending on if I'm wearing a fake tan or if it's the dead of winter and I'm pale. So I probably take about a fingertip of each shade and I mix them together in my hands first. And then I sort of start blending it on the middle of my face where I have the most redness and discoloration, and then blend it towards the periphery. And I cannot tell you how many compliments I get when I wear this. I don't know if that means that I look like trash all the other times, but anytime I put this on and walk into clinic, people are like, Dr. Ellis, you look good today. So I just feel like this is such a nice way to have another sunscreen step, but also get some coverage and some makeup. And it's a little bit pricier for a sunscreen, but if you think about the fact that you're getting this really good makeup aspect out of it too, it's definitely worth it to me and such a fave. And then for probably my most worn, most talked about sunscreen of the year, and this is not going to be a surprise for a lot of you, it's the Skin 1004 Madagascar Centella Hyaluronic SPF 50. I don't know if I said that right, but I've talked about it enough times that you should know what I'm talking about. The reason I love this so much is just like an everyday go-to sunscreen is that it is incredibly lightweight and just blends so easily into my skin. I don't have to think about it. I can grab it, pump a few pumps out, even apply it on the go. Like I don't need to use a mirror. I can put it over my eyelids and not worry about eye sting, and it just works so well. It also is really moisturizing without being heavy on the skin. So for people who have kind of drier skin and want a little bit of moisturization in their sunscreen, but also don't want to be weighed down, it's excellent, but also somehow works so well for oily skin. It's just one of those sunscreens that anytime I recommend, I get a ton of comments being like, I love this too, I love this too. And that's why it's also one of my favorites. This is a super affordable Korean sunscreen. So again, you cannot walk into a US drugstore and pick this up, but you can buy it online. There are a couple reputable sites that I purchased this from on the regular, so I will certainly put those in the description box. So that's a little roundup on my favorite skincare products of 2023. I'm so interested to hear what your skincare favorites were, so definitely put them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and definitely subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next year.